Coffee would be the first thing. Coffee, a place to smoke, and a bathroom, preferably with a shower if we can get one. And then the rest is pretty much just icing on the cake, and whiskey and beer. That's pretty much the mandatory stuff. I don't know what else Ben needs.
Actually, I don't need that much, but we have gotten pretty good at making do with what we have, but need internet because these guys go crazy without internet. I don't care. I hate using a computer, but most of these guys, like, he plays World of Warcraft, so without an internet connection, he's kind of jonesing. Shower, definitely. By now, we know most of these cities. We know a good place to eat. So if there's not food here, you always know where a Starbucks is. You always know things like that. So.
When we first started playing, that was like one of our initial goals was to be able to make a rider and actually say we want this and that. And when we got to a point where we could, at first it started getting ridiculous. Everyone was always like, you got to ask for the craziest stuff, just in case. And one of the things was an original 12-inch G.I. Joe doll. For a while, there was a monkey butler on our rider. We had a lot of ridiculous stuff. It used to be like socks and underwear. We used to have tons and tons of kind of crazy, like that stuff that we definitely don't ever need and hardly ever use.
Would people generally have it for you guys?
Up until the monkey butler and the G.I. Joe, yeah. Usually, we'd get... we used to get, like, DVDs, a CD. Like, when we were touring with just our own rider truck and a Winnebago, we didn't have any of that stuff. So the more we could collect and leave on the Winnebago as, like, entertainment, the better. Now we get on the road, we get in the bus, it's got a freaking satellite. It's just not really digging for stuff anymore. There was a band, we used to play at a club, Jack Straws, and this guy showed us a bunch of the craziest riders that he'd ever seen. And there was actually a band that on their rider they asked for 4 white horses tied up out back, so after the show they could ride off into the sunset. But I doubt they ever got anything like that, though. But that was the best thing I've ever heard.
There's one thing we did have. We were all having kids are all around the same time, and kind of all did it. I have 2 kids, and Rob has 3, and Al's got a couple, and they're all within a couple years apart of each other. There was a little bit of time, because diapers are so expensive, that we were starting to ask for diapers on the rider, so we could, especially if the kids were coming to shows, get these diapers, so we have diapers at the shows. And we actually did get those a few times as well, but that's since been scrapped. I don't think any of our kids are still in diapers. We have no routines at all. There's none. It's like you eat if you have time. Usually we get some dinner in. That's about the base of it. We do have a quick 5-minute meeting before we go on just to make sure we're all on the same page about the set list, but there's no real routines of any sort, especially now. We pretty much stay away from each other. No. We just sit here and bust each other's balls all the time. That's about it.
Well, usually the set lists are written by Al, Chuck, and Rob, and they take turns each night. We don't, as far as songs and stuff, we rarely differentiate from the set list, but we leave places in the set to do stuff and improvise, whatever. It would have to be something kind of special. The encore actually will change a lot because that's very time dependent, and by that time hopefully by the end of the show you have the mood of the crowd and everything, what's going on. So the encore will change fairly often, but that's about it.
There's definitely enough space in the set list that we play a lot of stuff that is just that we're making up or improvising, but yeah, like he said, there's not a lot of. Every once in a while we'll be like, there'll be extra time so we can add a tune. There'll be less time, we'll take a tune off. But other than that, it's not like we're going somewhere and it's like we playing something else, and then it's like, just felt right, man. So. I wouldn't say that. I mean, night to night is just different. Depends on what songs are on the set list. Depends on how we're all playing together. You know, like if everybody's like really in tune to playing together, then it's going to be a good show. And there, oftentimes, it didn't really happen this weekend, but some of those bigger shows, there's nerves, and we sometimes don't play as well as we could. Some of these shows, it's like we got nothing to lose. We go out there and we just kill it anyway because it's just, there's no nerves at all. So you're not hyped up. You're not like, oh my God, this is going to be, you know, and you just go out and play, and you're not thinking about anything but playing the show. So, anything to add to that?
I think, we just always, I think we tend to play better shows in towns like this, actually, in smaller markets and stuff. The crowds are not better, but more into it. There's more people know each other in the crowd, and it's obvious a lot of the times. You know, there's people come in bigger groups to see us and stuff like that. And the nerve, you know, there's no, I think the less pressure, the better the show is sort of going to be. You know, we might not be jumping around and stuff as much, but playing-wise, it's just always way smoother, easier to do.
Keeps rising, and your head keeps spinning round.